Hello and welcome to another episode of Football Talk Podcast. My name is Ozzie and I'm your host for today's show. We got the win in the end, another great performance from Liverpool, 3 wins on the bounce, and now we've moved up the table to 6th position. So things are certainly on the up for Liverpool right now, which is great to see. Let's review the game. So before the match started, I thought the lineup was quite interesting. No Konate, who we knew was a doubt before the game, but I think he may be possibly rested for the Spurs game that takes place this Sunday. Matip comes in, and I'll be honest, I was slightly concerned with his selection. I don't think he has the legs to play right side centre back in a back three. I personally would have gone for Gomez, as I think he's more than capable of playing that position, but I don't think he's trusted by Klopp or a number of fans, to say the least. But nevertheless, let's talk about the first half. So opening 15 minutes, it was all West Ham, to be fair. They really seemed up for it tonight. And the goal came in the 11th minute through Paqueta. So I've been calling him Paqueta all this time. So the commentator was saying Paqueta. So let's go with that pronunciation. So he opens the scoreline. And what a goal it was as he attacks from the left-hand side. Quick 1-2 with Antonio, and bang, he smashes it into the back of the net. I think at that point, it was probably well-deserved. They were really good in the opening 15 minutes. But Liverpool responded in great fashion in the 18th minute as Trent Alexander lays off another assist. That's 5 assists in 4 games now, I believe. So he lays the ball towards Gakpo, who hits a low shot into the bottom corner. I have to be honest, I'm very impressed with how Gakpo has evolved playing that false 9 role, and he looks like a real player in that position. Moments later, in the 26th minute, Jota manages to find the ball around the box, but unfortunately he hits it over. 35th minute, Van Dijk gets a header from a corner, unfortunately it goes wide. And then 30th minute, lovely football from Liverpool, lots of one-touch passes around the box. Salah dinks across towards Henderson. He nods it towards Jota, but unfortunately his effort misses the near post. And I would say the last 5 minutes were pretty much all West Ham. First time around, I think they had a counter attack around the 39th minute where Benrahma had acres of space on the left-hand side, but Antonio wasn't able to find him. In the end, Trent Alexander-Arnold blocked the pass from Antonio there. And then moments later, in the 40th minute, Bowen finds Benrahma on the left-hand side. He fires a low cross towards Antonio, but Van Dijk makes a great interception for a corner. And then Zuma has an effort from a corner, but his effort goes wide, which was a sigh of relief. It reminded me of how we conceded a couple of set pieces in our last fixture away at the London Stadium. So I was pleased that he didn't score. Liverpool go on a charge on the 42nd minute. Henderson whips in across from the right-hand side. Jones leaps to head the ball. Completely misses it, to be fair. Fabinho collects the ball from the edge of the box, and his effort, unfortunately, goes straight to the keeper. So West Ham have had a great spell in the last 5 minutes of the first half. Overall, great first half of football, end-to-end stuff. So at that stage, I'm thinking, please, more of this into the second half. Unfortunately, the second half wasn't played in the same chaotic manner as the first. In fact, both teams had a slow start in the beginning of the second half. 54th minute, Liverpool hit West Ham on the counter. It was a great interception by Rice, and then West Ham counter-attacked themselves. Bowen goes through on goal, and it hits a lovely finish. Lucky for Liverpool, it was ruled offside by VAR, which was the right call to say the least. Now, 57th minute, Gakpo heads it to Salah, who goes through on goal, blocked by the West Ham defense. Trent Alexander also has a shot from distance over the bar. 58th minute, Henderson and Jota are substituted for Thiago and Diaz. Good to see Diaz back on the pitch. And around the 63rd minute, good play from Liverpool around the box, and Trent Alexander hits another shot, and it goes over the bar again. One area I think he needs to improve on, I feel like Once he gets that right, he'll definitely add goals to his tally as well. 65th minute, Liverpool was so close to scoring from a corner. Matip had 2 bites of the cherry, one with a header and one with his feet, but so many bodies on the line. It gets waved off on for another corner from a deflection, and then the next minute it was third time's a charm, and Matip gets on the scoreline with a bullet header, and what a goal it was! Great finish from the defender there. And after that, plenty of subs. For Nunes comes on for Gakpo. West Ham sub corner has a shot. Unfortunately, he goes over the bar. There was a moment around the 85th minute where West Ham were on the counter, and Bowen on the right-hand side hits a lovely shot, kind of similar to the shot in the first half that was ruled offside. This was saved by Alisson, so great save from him. 88th minute, controversial one. Thiago handballs in the box. No penalty awarded. It was viewed by VAR. Me personally, I think Liverpool got lucky there. It could have been given. I know a lot of people are saying that the distance with the arm was quite close to his body, but I've seen those given. So I think Liverpool were very lucky not to concede a penalty there. So overall, a fantastic performance from Liverpool. Liverpool get the 3 points, a good performance. It was a tight game, as West Ham have been in great form recently. So that result puts Liverpool in 5th position with 53 points. Could a race for top 4 be reignited? Not for me, unfortunately. But I think we do have a strong chance of finishing 5th. And considering the season we've had, it wouldn't be a bad finish. So still 6 games to be played. Let's see how it goes. Let's see where we finish. Next game will be taking place this Sunday against Spurs, which, for me is an enticing encounter considering how they played against Newcastle. If they perform like that again, then I'm sure Liverpool will be here in big numbers. But that's another show for another day. So before we conclude this show, let's do the player ratings for Liverpool. Here we go. So let's begin with the goalkeeper. So Alisson, for me, wasn't required to do too much. Second half, I think he made one great clearance where Bowen was through on goal, and he came out of his line to clear the ball. That was crucial at that stage, and he made a couple of saves as well in the latter stages. So for me, didn't have to do a lot in terms of shot stopping. So I'll place him in the decent section. I think he had a decent game overall. Trent Alexander-Arnold. So with Konate, I feel like he's more able to make runs in the final third a bit more than he did in previous games. So, for example, with Matip playing in the lineup today, I think he was a little bit more reserved in terms of his sort of attacking input. I think he was more, what's the word? He was more traditional in terms of his style of play. So when Liverpool were defending, he would be playing in the back 4. Once Liverpool had the ball, he would drift in a bit more. But I feel like it was a more professional performance in terms of how he plays. So despite that, I think he had a very good performance. As I mentioned earlier in the show, that's his 5th assist in 4 games. I think he had 5 assists all season before his new transitional position in the team, playing as a inverted fullback. So for me, he's doing fantastically well. A lot of people have said that, against the big teams, we might get caught out with these tactics. Maybe so, but the games remaining right now, we're not really playing any of the big boys. So for me, it's working. We did it against Arsenal. I think that was the first time Trent played that inverted role, and he was fantastic. So far, that's working. It's the winning formula right now. So no reason to fiddle around with it. So with that said, I will put Trent in a very good category. I think he had a very good game today. Now, the next player, Matip. So I think in general, Matip had an average game. Not to say he had a poor performance or anything. I think there was times where I feel like he could have been tighter on his man, especially Antonio. And there were a few things that he did really well. So before the goal, I would have probably placed him in the average ranking, but because he got the winning goal, I moved him up a level. So Matic will be in the decent category alongside Allison there. Van Dijk for me had one of his more dominant performances, I would say. He was a lot more aggressive in the air, which sometimes I feel like he's lacked. In terms of defending, he didn't really let any of the players go past him, and he made that crucial clearance when Ben Rama hit a low cross towards Antonio, and that little toe punt towards the corner flag did the trick. But it was still a good piece of defending. So with that said, I will put him in the very good section alongside Trent there. So I think he had a good game. Robertson for me was a bit more quieter than normal. I think one of the positives for Robertson today was his end product, where I think his crossing and passing was a lot better. So I feel like he had a decent game overall. So with that said, I will put him in the decent category there. On to the midfield. So Fabinho for me was very, very good today. Very impressive his performance. Seemed to be a bit more quicker in terms of his reactions, so making tackles. His passing was a lot better today, showing some better form, glimpses of the old Fabinho. Will he get back to that level? Not quite sure. But in regards to this game, I thought he was fantastic. So with that said, I'm going to put Fabinho in the very good category as well. Next is Henderson. Henderson for me had a pretty much average game. I don't feel like he did a lot. Wasn't effective on the ball. I still feel like going forward with this formation, he's more suited to play that number 6 role, the role that Fabinho's playing. I feel like if we had a more of a technical player in Henderson's role, we would be a lot better in the final third. So I just feel like he doesn't have that awareness or that attacking flair up front where we need someone to be a bit more precise with the through balls and also be a goal threat at times with long distance shooting. So I don't think he has that in his locker anymore. But in terms of this game, I think he had a decent performance. So overall, that will be his category. So he will be in a decent category there. Next one is Jones. So Jones is getting a run of games. I think it's his 5th game today. I think he had a decent game today, but I feel like he was better in previous games. There was a lot of times today where I don't think he read the game very well. He was very slow to react to passes. And once he had the ball, he wasn't very quick with the movement in terms of distributing the ball. So I don't know. I feel like that seems to be the criticism that I have with Jones, where I don't feel like he moves around the pitch a lot. Not really a pass and move type of player. The way we play, you do need to have that as a skill set. So that does sort of affect his game. Do anything spectacular. So I'll put him in a decent category there. Now, in terms of our attackers, Salah for me had a quieter game than normal. There were phases where I feel like he was a good threat down the wing, cut in a few times, but a lot of his shots were getting blocked. I wouldn't say he had an average game, poor game. I think he had a decent game, just unlucky not to score. So I've got him in the decent category there. Gakpo for me was probably man of the match, the best player today. You can see why Klopp favors him to play in that central role. A lot of fans, including myself, would probably prefer Jota to play there sometimes because he's a better goal threat up top. But I can see what Gakpo brings to the team. And under that sort of false 9 position, he looks a real player. Very technical, great turn as well. There's been so many times where he gets the ball in a half turn and then lays the pass off to the other attackers. He's definitely got something about him. So it's great to see him flourishing in this new position. So I've given him the elite ranking today. So he was fantastic in my opinion. And then Jota as well. For me, he had a good game as well. Probably got taken off a little bit earlier than I would have wanted. And I feel like he was getting into that momentum. But I think with Jota, we've got to probably be a bit more careful in terms of not burning him out too soon. So taking him off around the 60th minute was probably the right call. So I'll put him in the decent category. I think he did really well today. And in terms of sub, I don't think any of them had a huge impact. Diaz came on, showed a bit of twinkle toes in the left wing. He still looks a bit rusty on the ball, but I feel like he'll get there in due time. So I'm going to put him in the average category there. Also, Thiago as well. Actually, I'm just thinking now. I think I may have put maybe a bit harsh. I'm going to put Jones in the average category. I don't think he had. I think if I had to label a player that was not the higher performance player today, it would probably have to be Jones. So sorry, I'll have to put Jones in the average category there. Thiago for me didn't have much of an impact. I think he played about 20, 30 minutes. And so he goes in the average category as well. And then Milner came on as a late sub, average from default there. And Nunes as well. So let me know what you guys think about my ranking here. Was I a little bit harsh to put Jones from decent to average? I don't think it was his better performance today, so that's why I put him in that category. But yeah, do let me know, guys, what you think. And that concludes the show for today. So thank you to everyone for tuning in. If you have already, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Next show will be taking place tomorrow as I will review all the big games from match week 33 and also give my thoughts on the title race as Man City beat Arsenal 4-1 earlier this evening. So until next time, guys, take care, stay safe, and I hope to see you all very soon. Good night.